So the first one that we're gonna do, headquarters came out with another child abuse under VLF that we have to quickly go over. A lot of this information you guys already know, but it's just to kind of reinforce the seriousness of child abuse and giving you guys the confidence that you need if you need to make a report. Okay, so the purpose of this training is to help you understand your obligations to report child abuse and the actions you must take if you suspect abuse and neglect in the Department of Defense Child and Youth Program activities. Okay, so who can just shout it out? What does abuse look like in our programs? What can it look like? Hitting, spanking, yelling,
Verbally.
sure. Facial expressions, isolating a child, timeout,
Denying food.
denying even an area, like just a play center in general. What is it? So keep those in mind. We have 3 scenarios to read through, okay? At the end of each scenario, I kind of want you to think, okay? And I'm going to ask you, like, what you would do if you were in that situation. Would you report it? Would you not report it? Okay? So scenario 1, you're working the closing shift at the Child Development Center. And while the center is closed 10 minutes ago, you're still waiting on Xavier's family to arrive to pick him up. Xavier's father is currently deployed, and you know that his mom has expressed she is experiencing a lot of stress. And with this recent deployment, it's not easy. You've made several phone calls, but Xavier's mom is not answering, and you start to worry. You've already made arrangements for Xavier to be picked up by an emergency contact. When Xavier's mother finally arrives at the program, you smell alcohol on her breath and she's slurring her words. What do?
You down now.
Management.
First, you're gonna report it to your, whoever's on duty, your director, your assistant director, and then they're going to take the proper change to. But you, under any circumstances, allow that woman to take that child out of the classroom. You just tell her, I'm sorry, you need to go talk to the director or my assistant director, whether it be Beverly.
Do not release that child.
No, not release the child.
Correct.
Still power with all on the phone. Yep. Or like a dump around. Oh, it's so brown. Yeah, I was probably
Oh, bro, I didn't know what they. Go brown. That's like. Oh, brown.
So yeah, all of that's correct. So scenario 2, you are a new toddler teacher and you have only been working at the city for about 5 weeks. Tommy and Stella are playing in the block area and Tommy begins to hit Stella and pull her hair. Kim, the new toddler teacher, rushes over to the block area and slaps Tommy's hand and pulls his hair. Tommy begins to cry. Kim says, "No hitting or hair pulling, Tommy. See, you don't like that." If you see that, what do you do?
Follow front and ask to have somebody else when you're.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Do you know that if you see someone abusing a child and you don't say something, you are also
Yeah.
at
You
fault.
are just as guilty.
Make sure if you suspect something that you are reporting it yourself.
Scenario 3. You are a staff member in the school age program. At pickup, Miss Jones, a mother of a child in your program, asks if she can speak with you privately. During this conversation, she shares that she has concerns about Kayla, another child in the school age program. Miss Jones shares that they are neighbors with Kayla's family. She tells you that some nights she can hear Kayla's father screaming and cussing at Kayla, and last night when Kayla was playing outside, he came after her with a belt. Miss Jones expresses that she did not actually see him strike Kayla, but that she's concerned for her safety. What would you do? Would you report it?
Yeah.
Okay. So each of these scenarios reflects a situation in which a child is being harmed or at risk of being of harm because of an adult failing to provide care. You may respond differently to each of these situations in the moment, but all of these incidents require you to report. If you see Beverly said, and you do not report, you are just as guilty. When in doubt, just report it. It doesn't hurt. It's confidential. If you have to call family advocacy, you don't need anyone's permission to contact family advocacy. If you feel a child is being abused or neglected, just make the report. Let it be family advocacy's choice if they want to pursue it further. Once you make the report, that's it. You're not gonna know the outcome. And that's okay, but just know that people are working behind the scenes, okay? What is it? The impact of abuse and neglect can resonate through a child's life into adulthood. Research shows that children who experience abuse and neglect are more likely to experience behavioral problems, teen pregnancy, an increased rate of re-victimization, an increased rate of aggressiveness, abusive behaviors, criminal activity, withdrawal, isolation, physical and mental health problems, learning and emotional disabilities, lack of parenting skills, and poor relationship skills. So what happens to them as children can literally affect them as an adult. And you can change that if you see something, okay, and you report it. As an employee, you have the legal and ethical professional responsibility to report children from any harm. This is your most important responsibility and is highlighted in the NAEYC Code of Professional Ethics. In your classrooms, where is the information to call family advocacy located? Correct. Where is it located in the front?
Posters that are to the left.
And it's also where?
It's in
It's in the break room.
the pamphlets are hanging next to your office.
There's pamphlets hanging next to my office. Yep.
And the table that sits underneath the windows when you first come into the left. There's a bunch of handouts for family advocacy. We also have ones for counselors and everything like that.
And there's the same information in the training room. It's a normal response to feel anxious and second guess yourself when you witness or suspect a situation that makes you uncomfortable. It's normal. You don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. You don't want to get in trouble yourself. You don't know because you don't know the outcome of it. Like it's scary. It's nerve wracking, right? But it needs to be done. Okay. A few reasons why you may question whether you should report an incident could include that you're shocked or frightened by what you saw or heard. You worry that you're overreacting. There's many times where I personally have seen things and I'll go to Beverly and I'm like, am I overreacting or should I just blah, blah, blah? And she's like, if you feel blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I do feel, and I have made reports. So just know that it is normal to second guess yourself. You're anxious that if you make a report, the individual suspected of abuse or neglect will find out it was you. It's anonymous. 9 times out of 10, they kind of figured you're with their child most of the day, so they kind of put 2 and 2 together. But nobody tells them. They will not know. You also may worry that it may negatively impact the future of the service member or your own personal career. So say you're married to a military member, you could be scared that it could affect his career or even yours. You worry that you could be sued or punished for making the report. None of those will happen. It doesn't work like that. So again, if you know or suspect a child that is being abused in your program, report it regardless. Just make the report, let it be family advocacy's determination if they're going to investigate it further and take it further. That is the whole purpose of this VLS training that came down from headquarters, just to give you guys the confidence that you need to make the report if necessary. Any questions? Concerns? Okay, cool. That one was easy. Yep, that one's done.
All right, so I just wanted to add something in reference to child abuse. There are different types of child abuse, but the most important thing that we have to do when it comes to that topic is that we have to be very observant and very alert. There are different types of child abuse. The abuse that you can see, the abuse that you cannot see. And that is what? What is it we cannot see? Verbal abuse, mental abuse, a child
Educational.
seeing educational, seeing domestic violence and not saying anything. There's a lot of signals that we have to be able to identify when it comes to child abuse. The legality of reporting is always handing us because we have to report. No matter how we feel, we have to report. If we are not sure, we still have to report. You're not hurting anybody's feelings by reporting somebody for child abuse. A few years ago, when I was in Catholic Charities, I got a child care center where a child would come to the grandmother's door and knock on the door, and the child would tell the grandmother, "I want to make you feel good, make you feel good." The child was being sexually abused by the boyfriend of the mother. Okay, the grandmother came to our center and reported that to one of our social workers, and the social worker immediately reported to CPS. There are a lot of things going on right now in our families. Unfortunately, there's a lot of domestic violence. There's a lot of drug usage, even among our military. There's child abuse taking place, children being burned with cigarette,
Burns.
yeah, burns. So there's a lot of going on, and the moment we see anything, we have to report it. A few months ago, a CDC director, along with the caregivers, and FBI chief were taken to jail because there had been a situation of child abuse that the caregivers, they knew about it. They reported to the CDC director. The CDC director didn't do anything about it, and everybody went to jail and everybody lost their jobs. Okay. If you happen to see a co-worker, I'm not trying to put you against each other. If you see a co-worker doing something that might be considered child abuse, you need to approach the co-worker and say, "Listen, you need to stop, and you need to report it to management." Very important. Why do we have the CCTV system for? For management to go back and review on a weekly basis, on an ongoing basis, what is going on in the classroom. We don't do this in an effort to spy on you or to report you, but we do it to make sure that we identify any factors that may be part of any type of neglect or child abuse. Okay? Is it appropriate to hold a child for 5 minutes with your legs around the waist to calm it down? No. Is it appropriate to lift up a child the wrong way when the child is kicking on the air? No. There's a lot of things that we need to reflect on. Now, things can happen in 20 seconds or 10 seconds.